Hi, I'm Pam Smith and welcome to Kvaroy Kids. I'm here with one of my favorite Kvaroy kids, our junior chef today, and that is Eva. Eva is here. She is going to be showing us how to do a really cool dish, candied salmon. Who knew you could candy salmon, right, Eva? Mm-hmm. Amazing. What you don't know about Eva that I know is this is my granddaughter, Kvaroy Kid, and we're so excited. She's been cooking with me, honestly, what, Eva, since you were, almost like not able to even like cut a piece of bread, but you've been doing it a really long time, so really fun. Well, we're gonna do something different. Candied salmon has a lot of history, and the most important thing about it is it has what has become your favorite salmon. And what salmon is that?
Kvaroy salmon.
That's right, Kvaroy salmon. Again, new for us. Kvaroy Arctic is just exploded into our world. It's the only salmon we eat. And why do we eat it?
Because it's awesome.
Because it's awesome. That's exactly right. I know you're homeschooling this year, so you've been doing a lot of the Kvaroy Kid activities. You've been doing some postcards, you've been doing cooking just like this, some science, some technology. What do you do with the postcards? Tell us about that.
So I have a whole drawing kit and I just color them with all my markers, like one is right there and one is right there.
Very cool. Oh, I love that. And you actually
I'm gonna send it to somebody.
I love that. Again, that's the art part. Well, today we're going to be doing the culinary, the cooking part. So again, that's where we get started, and I think that's what we should do right away. This is beautiful salmon. Something you don't do a lot is we left the skin on with this because it's a very authentic recipe. Candied salmon's been being done for literally thousands of years by the Native Americans in the Pacific Northwest. This is a traditional method. Again, where is Kvaroy from? Do you remember?
Norway.
Norway, you got it. And I have envisionment that literally eons ago, this was exactly what the Norwegians were doing to preserve their salmon, because that's almost what we're doing in the candying process. We cut these very thin. We have one piece that's what's called the belly of the salmon, and you see the beautiful striation. Those are the stripes, and that's a lot of deliciousness. We have a little tail piece of the salmon. We have one that's cut right from the center, but it doesn't really matter. The key is that it be a really thin piece, because that's what we're going to have turn into our salmon candy in just a little bit. So speaking of candy, we need to get the first step of that done, and that's the brining. So why don't you take over here and let's get this brine together. You're doing equal parts of kosher salt and a brown sugar. This is actually a raw sugar, and you're mixing that then together with your little paddle. Perfect. And this is a step that's going to cure the salmon, or you could even consider it to be a brine of the salmon. That's right, just get it nice and mixed together. What we're going to do is get the salmon into this and then get it into the refrigerator. In the refrigerator, it's going to start that step of curing it, which is again a big part of the whole preservation process and the deliciousness. So yeah, good mixture there. Why don't you put a little layer in this pan here of that, maybe about half of it. Yeah, you can just pick it up. Perfect. Yeah, great. Yes, just pour it right in. That makes it even easier still. Great.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's really good. And then take this salmon and just put all three pieces right into the mixture of the salt and the sugar.
That feels so cool.
It does feel cool, right? I mean, it's one of the things that I think is so cool about learning about salmon and learning about Kvaroy Arctic is that you learn it's nothing to be scared of, right? Yeah, it even smells good, right? It doesn't smell fishy. It should smell of the sea. So then we're gonna just kind of top it, because what I want you to do is kind of really make sure each piece is really covered with this. So you want to just move that around and kind of turn them around upside down and make sure that they've got a good coating. That's perfect. Yeah, awesome. Great.
And it's extra candy-like.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's interesting because this is going to pull a little bit of the moisture out from the salmon. It's part of what's going to change the texture of it, which you'll see in just a little bit.
I think I need
Perfect. Yeah, you're getting great. Then just kind of sprinkle all of the rest of this right on top of it. Yeah, perfect. Because we really want to have it almost submerged in it. You know what I do? I just pour the whole rest of it right on top of it. You got it. Awesome. Yeah. Great. You got it. It is well covered now. Okay. Pretty salty, isn't it? Okay, so this is going to go into the refrigerator just as it is, and you need a paper towel, and I happen to have one right here. There's a little bit of water up there if you need to put your hands in that. This is going to go into the fridge, and by the magic of television, I already have the one that we put in just about 30 minutes ago, because what we want to see is just what's happened in just that period of time. You notice it looks almost wet, right?
Yeah.
Well, remember what I said the salt and sugar is doing? It's actually pulling the moisture out of the fish, and that's part of starting to make the candy. So what we're going to do now is take the fish, dip it into the water. Here, let me get this up here for you. And then we're going to actually dry it just a little bit. So dip it right into the water. Great. It is so cool, isn't it?
Where do I put that?
Right up here. Great. Number one. You got it.
It's so cold. Do we just take it off?
Uh-huh. Yep, you're just trying to rinse that extra off because as you tasted it, see how cool the texture of the salmon has
Feels like a
changed so
snake,
much?
kind of.
It kind of does, yeah, snake or even a dinosaur almost. It's really, really something.
It's making the water really cold now.
Yeah, I bet it is because it's been in there about that 30 minutes.
I love the texture like things.
I know, and you can see, again, those striations is where all of the flavor really comes to be. Okay, I'm gonna move this, and then you can take those extra paper towels and not only dry your hands, but just blot at the salmon because we want to get it nice and dry. Perfect.
Does it have to be 100% dry?
No, it doesn't. You know why? Because it's going to go in the fridge and we're going to air dry it in the refrigerator, which is also extremely cool. And we're going to do that right on this rack. So now that that's kind of dried off, you can pick up each one and just lay it right on the rack.
Oh, the skin's falling off, kind of.
Yeah, it kind of is.
This way or this way?
Skin down. Perfect. Great. Maybe we'll do it this way because that's such a thin slice. Great. And then that one too, also this way. Great. See, that's perfect. Now we're going to let the refrigerator kind of do its work. We're going to get it back in the fridge. Got it. And again, through the power and magic of television, we have this one. And that one we did last night because we wanted to let that dry in the refrigerator for 12 hours. So while it's drying in the refrigerator, you feel the difference?
Yeah,
that one before,
it feels
you said
like a gummy.
Almost a little bit, but see, that's part of that candy. And have you ever had something called jerky, beef jerky or turkey jerky? Well, you could almost imagine that that's a little bit of what we're doing. We're pulling all the moisture out of it. So we're kind of making a little bit of magic happen with food chemistry. So that's what cooking really is all about. So I'm gonna let that be for just a little bit because we need to now enter the next step, which is the actual candying of the salmon. Now, I know you're not a big candy eater, but you kind of like it sometimes, right? Well, what makes it so delicious is it has just the right balance of sweetness, a little smokiness. We're using maple syrup. What do you usually put maple syrup on?
I like pancakes and waffles.
Pancakes, waffles, absolutely. So we're gonna use it as our kind of sweetening agent for this candy. So here is some that's measured out. You wanna just put it into this bowl.
Wow.
Yum-o. Great, and it's a real maple syrup. It's called pure maple syrup because we're not wanting to use the kind that's got lots of chemicals or high fructose corn syrup in it. This is pure maple syrup. What that was a little bit of a malt vinegar. If you kind of hear the
It's
little
like
smell
setting
of it.
on the top.
It kind of is, isn't it? See how that's giving a little bit of acid to this. Then we're gonna add just a little touch of soy sauce. This is actually tamari. Look how cool it looks. It looks like an art project in and of itself, right?
It looks like paint.
And then because we're gonna do this in the oven, traditionally the Native Americans would have smoked this, but we're not gonna use a smoker. We're using our oven. So what we're using instead is something called smoked paprika. It's peppers that have been laid out on oak planks and smoked. So you get,
It smells really good.
doesn't it? It's all that smokiness. So just add that right into it as well. Hello, you did just the right thing. A little trusty whisk. Yeah, and just get it all mixed together.
Brush it up a little bit because the chunks of the paprika.
The paprika, but you'll see it'll just start to dissolve itself and become your glazing mixture, because that's what we're gonna do with it, is we're going to use this now to start the candying process, which is gonna take about 4 hours or so in the oven. So you've got 4 hours to do, right? Well, we might speed that up a little bit. We'll use that magic of television to do that. But normally you can get this in while you're doing your homeschooling or you're playing softball. And just like every hour, you're gonna go back and do a little bit of glaze action. That's perfect. So maybe just take one more little spin around the world.
It smells really good.
Doesn't it smell good? And it actually really tastes good too. It just has all the right things going. Actually, if you want to use that little spoon, do you want to actually taste it? I think you'll be surprised.
It's actually pretty good.
It really is. I'm not sure you'd want to put it on pancakes or waffles, but I think it's going to be really great on this. So we have that done. So we're all good to go. Now what we're going to do is take that tray. Why don't you sit it right up here? And we're gonna basically paint the salmon. So here's your trusty little paintbrush, also called a pastry brush.
So you just scoop
Yeah, just scoop it in, and maybe I'll hold it here. That's perfect. You gotta get a really nice, good coating right on it.
Oh, wow.
Nice, right? And remember, all the moisture has already been kind of evaporated out. It was pulled out in the brine. Great.
Last one.
Yep.
That smells really good.
Nice, right? So then why don't you just turn it? I'll hold the brush, turn it to the other side, because we want every side to taste delicious, right?
Yep.
Great, and then repeat.
I love how they're all like different colors.
I know, it's really cool, and that's all the difference of where the cut on the salmon was. Perfect. Oh my gosh, you are getting to be an expert painter. So we're gonna keep this glaze because we're gonna keep doing our magic with it. We have the oven set. Oh, here we go. It's got a special even name right on it. Cooking can get a little messy sometimes, right? Okay.
That's part of the fun.
Now, it is part of the fun, you're right. So we've got foil on the bottom of the pan. Why do you think we do that?
Probably because whenever it drips and it doesn't like stick to the pan.
Exactly, because who does not love to do dishes?
Everybody.
Everybody, you got it, but especially Nana. So putting that foil on means that as it's cooking, it's gonna actually make almost a candy, almost like a peanut brittle without the peanuts on the bottom of it. So let's go over to the oven. We have the oven set at 170, so it's not overly hot. So I'll just slip this right in. And then, as I said, every hour we're gonna go back and glaze it a little bit more. But this one has been in for about 6 hours already, right? So you can tell, see how it's kind of tacky almost? That's just like the candy. So let's bring this
feels
over.
so weird.
It really does, but it tastes so good. Great. So maybe in just a little while you can go over and brush it again, but look at how incredible that looks. And what's happened is that glaze is just kind of turned into that candy, the candied salmon. So at this point, you're kind of good to go. You can just decide how you want to serve it. Now, a lot of people would use this as a breakfast. They might have it with a bagel and maybe with a little cream cheese. Or you might decide that you want to have it as a candied salmon sandwich, because I happen to know you like a little bit of Hawaiian roll action. So we've got some of those here, or maybe you'd like to have it as a whole meal. So we'll put all of that together, but if you were going to do a meal, what's a good vegetable?
Broccoli.
Broccoli, absolutely. So we can plate it with that, but I know you've come up with a new creation, which I'm quite impressed with, and that is to do almost corn lollipops or flowers, because who doesn't like something on a stick? And all that you've done is taken cooked corn, that's it, cut it into little rounds, put a nice little skewer in it, and then dip it in a little melted butter, because who doesn't love that? Then into Parmesan cheese. You could put some herbs in that if you wanted to, some chopped parsley or cilantro, whatever you might like.
I love Parmesan.
I know you love Parmesan cheese. This has got your name all over it. So see how cool that is? Then you can literally, got a little bit more. You got to do it. So then you can literally just put it right onto your plate. Why don't you do one more? Maybe one standing up, and then maybe one that you can lay down on the plate. And what's cool about this is you can get them all ready, and then just right at the last minute, just melt that butter in the microwave just to make it nice and warm like we did. Have it all set. I mean, this is really a fun thing that you could do with your friends too.
Yeah.
Okay, you got that action. Okay, I am really, really loving that. How cool could it be? Okay, little another paper towel. Okay, so how about if we build the Hawaiian roll ones as well? So this one's a little warm, but I think it's not so warm that you couldn't do it. Now you chose the vegetables and the dips you wanted to put on this plate. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I chose rainbow carrots, like all different colored carrots, some hummus, ranch dip, cucumbers, which are usually mini cucumbers, but we chop them up, and a lemon.
Nice, because lemon just kind of goes with it all. And so you could do this as a little crudité, as it's called, right? So I think what's cool about this is you can get these open. I know some people might like to put mustard or mayo or maybe even ketchup. That's not you. You like your things kind of plain, maybe a little shredded lettuce if you wanted to do, but this you could either put, you see what happened there? I picked it up and the skin stayed right on the pan, because once it's been cooked, it just pulls away, but keeping the skin on is what holds it together.
Yeah.
So this you could either flake up like I would do right here. I'll let you build the rest of them, but you're just making a little salmon bite. How cool is that? Okay, so you take over. You can finish the next two. Your hands will be nice and candied and sticky.
It smells really good.
Well, you know what you gotta do. What have we been doing? We've been here all this time. You haven't even tasted it yet. How about that piece? It's got your name on it.
Let's do that. And
Okay.
then that one.
That one, okay.
And we have a whole extra one.
See what's happening with that skin? It just pulls right away from it. So cool, right?
That's just...
Now, I will tell you that the Norwegians nor the Native Americans would ever throw this away. They use salmon skin for all kinds of things. They crisp it up. It's perfect. Could even get one more piece on it, probably.
I like the candy part.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it
It's
all
all
like candy.
so good, right? Okay, so then you go. Yeah, we can just take them and kind of build them just like this.
Push
You
it.
could actually, gosh, this would be a cool thing to do at a party, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
A lot of people will
A
like
lot of people. I could even see doing this at one of the sleepovers that you have. You could all actually do the candied salmon as really one of your cool projects that you do with your friends. And then in the morning, it would be all set to go. Hey, how about a taste of it? You want to do that? Okay, so you could either do that or you want to just taste it straight as it is. I think that's going to be a lot to do.
I'll do this one.
Okay.
Really good.
Really good? Is it what you expected?
No.
No. Does it taste like, because you eat Kvaroy Arctic salmon all the time, does it taste like it or is it different?
It's pretty different. I just love it.
That crust is just so cool, right? And again, I actually expected it to be a lot sweeter than what it was, but the brine gives a lot of the savoriness of it. So it's really great. We have to come back for more of that.
Yeah.
Right now, why don't we go back and do one more glaze? It hasn't quite been an hour yet, but I want to just show you even what's happening in just this short period of time. It's starting to heat up. See that?
Yeah.
And so what you would do, assuming it was an hour, is you just do one more glaze right on top of it. So just act like this is step 2. Perfect. Yeah, great painting.
It's kind of like scooping it with a spoon.
In a way, it really is. Great.
Put that back over here.
Put that over there and let's get this in. And again, let's kind of think through, again, over the course of the next 2-3 hours, you just keep going back and you know that it's done when you touch it and it's
like sticky.
Sticky, right? They call it tacky. It's just a little bit sticky, but yet you can see that it really holds together.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so delicious. You like?
Yeah.
Okay, very, very cool. So when you talk to your friends, because you're 10, when you talk to your friends, do you have some that aren't too sure that they like salmon?
No.
Everyone loves salmon.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're such a good ambassador for Kvaroy Arctic. That makes perfect sense. The key with any kind of new food, though, for people is to start to cook with it, right? And as you cook with it and you have fun with it, who doesn't want to eat what they cook?
No.
And when it's this delicious.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know. So we have a blog and all of these recipes are available on that blog, on the Kvaroy Arctic blog. And we would love if anybody is watching that decides they're going to do their own version of candied salmon. Maybe, you'll have your own little ways that you would serve it. Maybe you do like lettuce and tomato and something on your Hawaiian rolls, or maybe you decide to have green beans rather than broccoli, or macaroni and cheese would be great with it too. A lot of choices that you have. We'd love to have you take a picture and tag your meal. And Eva, you just happen to have exactly the way for people to do that. Tag your meal at hashtag Kvaroy Kids. You got it. So much fun. And it's been so much fun to have you join us. Can't wait till next time to cook. Coming up next week, we're doing Live at 5. We're going to be doing some salmon tacos, and you'll get to meet Eva's cousin, who is Cousin Kylie, my other granddaughter. So really excited for that too. Whatever you do the rest of your day, may it be a beautiful Kvaroy Arctic salmon day. See you soon.